I mean, if you look at all the people that are never having sex with those individuals that you see online, I mean, you can see the whole world. I mean, you can see Love Island. I mean, for every porn video that you watch, there's 7.6 billion people that are never doing that. Love I mean, for every porn video you watch, there's 7.6 billion people who have never done that with those people. They've never done that scenario. I mean, I said. So you have to look at broad. I mean, you have to look at everything broadly, and you have to understand to look at everything at once in different ways. So be able to focus upon understanding that if you're promoting yourself always, you're doing something to help yourself to succeed differently, and you're making sure that you're different about what you're doing always. Because that way you're promoting yourself always more, and that's it. I mean, promote yourself always more. Make sure that you're learning very quickly upon what you want to do always, and you're making sure that people can find them always in different ways, and make sure always that no matter what's happening around the world, that you focus upon learning. I mean, be able to learn what you want out of life. I mean, be able to learn about the nice and beautiful different ways of what you want so you can succeed differently, because that's the whole point. And the whole point is making sure that you are doing something different for yourself. And that's it. I mean, promote at least somebody online and focus on making sure that you see straight away what to do. I mean, that's it, because you are somebody who is very successful in what you're doing. But that's the whole point, yeah? And the whole point is making sure you're doing something nice and beautiful for yourself, to make sure that you have a nice and beautiful life always, to do something that's nice and beautiful, and then focus on making sure that you have that nice and beautiful art of whatever it is to succeed differently. But that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing about life, isn't it? I mean, the thing about life is make sure that you're never cruel about what you're doing. But if you're cruel and if you look cruel all the time, then make sure you understand it either way. That you just focus upon understanding that it's just that kind of day, yeah. The whole point is understand this. That you go promote those beautiful people that you want all the time in your life, and that way you are learning very quickly upon what you want and how you succeed is what you do. So what you do is make sure all the time that you're learning very quickly upon the art of persuasion, and you're learning to just be with yourself. I mean, being with yourself is so much more and better than and better than I mean, in the sense that what I do always is I focus on understanding that I want to go always do the greater job. I want to make sure that there's always something greater I'm promoting, and making sure either way that what I want to do is just promote and promote and promote. So as I promote, I succeed. Whereas as I succeed, I do more. And that's the whole point, yeah? I mean, the whole point is make sure you're learning to succeed. I mean, learn to really, really study something that's helping you. And as you study, just be able to just do your content all day long. I mean, that's all you have to do. I mean, focus on understanding that you want to be making sure that no matter what you're doing, that you're learning a greater life. But I understand that no matter what, I understand that since I really, really have a greater life for myself all the time, I'm speaking more words with myself all day long and making sure I'm more successful regardless of anybody else. And that way I learn very quickly upon how I actually need to do more. But other people are always coming back to see me. I'm pretty sure other people are always coming back to see what I'm doing, because they see I'm very famous, or they see I need to always improve myself anyway. Because they see that it's much more how I feel about life, and make sure that no matter what, that it's much more how I need to go and do greater regardless. As I do greater, I do something different that I've never done, because I feel that every single day I'm learning. I'm learning something always new. And because I'm learning different art of habits. I'm learning different habits always. I'm learning to see that it's more how I see. So I random 5. Whereas now every single time, just understand that if you have random audios or something that you did record, then upload it online just randomly and just say it's a random video for yourself, or random audio or random image. But with images, I never name images online. Of course, if I upload images online, of course I never try to go and let's say change it in a way that I never try to describe those photos, because the photos are too much. Or else there's 1,000 photos and more upload a day and more. I understand. So either way, bro, it's just too time consuming to go and do the descriptions of all these photos. So what I do is I just go and succeed differently, or that's what you guys have to do. You guys have to succeed differently all the time. There's nothing else to do in terms of life until you succeed. You understand drugs, people, drugs and people, they fucking love pleasure, and guess what they do? When they get together to do drugs, and that's it. The woman here, if you want to find a woman today in terms of Sydney to have sex with or to just be around, it's much more how you have to get around the communities and you have to follow them to have women. And guess what, You have to be with them for 1 year and you have to follow them and drive them around. You have to, then you have to drive them around and talk to them. And then either way, that's what a relationship looks like. Where you're looking for a woman from the community or something like that you grew up in, and you're always trying to be with those people from the community to be with you. And then you have to call them and call them and call them and call them and call them to have a woman in your life. For fuck's sake, I'm never that desperate. I'm never that desperate, man. You know what I'm saying? So what I do is, if you want a woman to just connect with like this, then you can always find them in different parts of the world. But the beautiful ones, the beautiful ones are different. They're different. How do you find a beautiful one here? It's more how I understand that they are all over the place. They're all over the place. They're on the beach somewhere, and you can approach them on the beach, and you can find out about them. You have to go where they go. You have to go where the beautiful women go. And then guess what? Either way, what's amazing is they're on Instagram today a lot. Now, that's the thing, yeah. If you want a woman today, you can go on Instagram today and try to message as many women as possible. But guess what? It's more how you have to understand. It's more how I feel. And now I feel that other people have attractive women around them and they never deserve that as much as I do. I deserve more attractive than them. I deserve more women than them right now. But they are getting those women now. They are getting those women. But I deserve more women in my life more than them. I deserve that more than them. And why is that? Because I'm doing more work than them. Because of everything. And that's the thing. Either way, I'm very sure I accept everything. But what I do now is I focus upon my life. I focus upon understanding that other people are just against me. They're against me so much. They never do anything to help me in terms of, let's say, with words. They can never help me. They can never help me. They never want to kill me. They never want to kill me, but they spread rumors about me. Now, is it rumors or is it the truth? It's always the truth that they spread about me. They never want to communicate words to me, to be with me. You know what I'm saying? That's different. I never need them. I never need them at all. But the thing is, I understand this. It's more how I feel. And I feel greater anyway. I feel I always have something greater than them. And that's why I just continue. I continue my life. I continue doing something different always. And now I focus upon understanding that since I do that, I love my life differently, and I make sure that I'm always understanding that if you want to look at nude photos of people, then you can. It's a pleasure. It's more than pleasure. It's more how you feel. And now if it turns you on, and you want to masturbate to that, guess what? It's more how you feel, yeah? It's more how you have to delay gratification. So I see Tori Wilson is somebody I'm promoting as well. And now, since I'm actually going and more doing this nice and beautiful art of courage all the time, I'm focusing on different modules of success. I'm focusing on making sure that there's always something new I can do to succeed in different ways, because that's what I do. I do different areas of life and make sure I'm very successful all the time. Making sure every single day that I focus upon the best kind of ideas all the time in different ways. I focus on making sure that my love for everything is growing much more. I focus on making sure there's always more. Of course, there's always more to succeed with. But make sure, anyway, if you want to succeed even more, then focus on just delivering that nice and beautiful way of life for yourself in different ways. Because everybody has life much better. And just promote yourself. Promote yourself differently. And you have to understand that no matter what, I see a lot of drugs about people, and they go and do all this pornography and everything, and they do nothing to succeed really. In a sense, so when I look at the nice and beautiful attitudes of people, I focus upon understanding that it's more how I feel, and because I feel differently, I feel certain aspects of life differently. I make sure I show people quickly upon life and how success works and I make sure that no matter what, that life is very different when I'm doing something to help myself. And now, because I'm doing something to help myself always, I make sure that you understand that it's much more about love and devotion with communication with yourself. But I feel that there's no point to chase other people until you get to the point of recommendation about making sure that you have more than enough. Be someone who has more of a lifestyle regardless of women. I mean, that's the other way. But I mean, have more success regardless. I mean, you deserve success more. And if they go for you because of success, I mean, guess what? I mean, you hit the jackpot regardless of your life because you are more successful than other men regardless. I mean, you're more successful than other people regardless. I mean, that's why you have to go and speak more words for yourself. I mean, and that's it. I mean, make sure you understand that. I mean, make sure you understand that either way. That if you want to really, really promote yourself and you want to do something around love for yourself in different ways, then you're always focusing on making sure you have more in terms of what you need. I mean, just keep promoting yourself is what I mean. I mean, there's nothing else to do in life. I mean, just promote yourself all the time. I mean, promote yourself every single day to focus upon loving yourself and making sure you're always that nice and beautiful way. I mean, but do I have embarrassing moments because I'm improving myself? Unfortunately, now, if I want to promote people and I show them anything I'm doing, unfortunately, it's nice and sexy to be able to tell them this is what I believe about you. Understand? So, what you do is be attractive for yourself. I mean, be attractive to be alone all the way. And you understand? Because other people just use you for pleasure. But if you want to be with pleasure all the time, I mean, imagine you're having sex with all these women and men, and they only care about you to be with you for pleasure. I mean, they never care about you, really. I mean, they never care about your legacy. I mean, they never care about your words. I mean, they never care about giving you money. I mean, they never care about giving you accommodation. I mean, you feel like strangers with them, but I mean, you feel like strangers as well. But you feel like strangers so much, but then you're just fucking and fucking and fucking, and it feels good, yeah. Well, either way, probably it's a stranger that you never met before. For fuck's sake, I mean, they never want to help you do anything, and they just want to fuck you, and they want to fuck you and move on. I mean, when you call that love, well, that's never love, is it? Well, you must understand that what's important is every single day focusing on understanding that you must delay and delay and delay gratification. And now, why is that? I mean, why do you have to do it? I mean, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I mean, focus on loving your life regardless. I mean, so make sure you understand that what you want out of life is to succeed differently and making sure you're learning very quickly upon what you want out of life. I mean, if you understand all the time that you go and succeed differently all the time, you just express yourself and express yourself and express yourself. Guess what happens eventually? Eventually you deserve it. I mean, eventually you deserve it all the way. Because why? I mean, because you're learning to have a better life for yourself. And because you're learning to have a better life for yourself, I mean, you're doing something to help yourself to succeed differently, and that's it. I mean, focus on making sure that, yes, I mean, you can do whatever you want to succeed all the time. But you're making sure all the time that you have that nice and beautiful courage with you to do whatever it is, or else in terms of to do whatever it is to have a greater life. You understand? I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, the whole point is making sure you have a greater life for yourself, and that's it. I mean, learn to be much more, is what I'm saying. So, all the time, just see that other people can never ever satisfy you in pleasure, because the more sex you want with them, the more they need to go elsewhere and do something different. I mean, just saying. So what you do is different aspects of life. I mean, learn to appreciate yourself and learn to see exactly what you want out of life in different ways. You're making sure all the way that you realize something, that you just study. I mean, study and study and study. I mean, in a sense, so either way, just look at I mean, you can look at nude photos of people if you want. I mean, in a sense, but make sure you understand either way that they're all over the place. Anyway, I mean, in a sense, so what's the thing about life is success, and if you succeed daily, if you understand every single day that you want to do greater all the time, then focus on making sure that is just what you need to succeed always. I mean, you need to make sure that you understand something about life for yourself, because that way you're learning very quickly upon what you want to do, and you're making sure that you're doing something that is helping you grow. I mean, help yourself grow differently. I mean, help yourself do something that other people are never doing, because that way you're learning very quickly upon what you want out of life. I mean, understand? I mean, is it wrong? I mean, approach it's never wrong. Approach there's no such thing as wrong in life. I mean, make sure you understand that what you want out of life is just a nice and beautiful way to encourage yourself to do what you want to do. I mean, in a sense, so just focus on understanding that what you want out of life is to succeed. But guess what? I promise you, it's much more how you need to go and do something better for yourself to understand that no matter what, that I feel that other people in terms of fantasy, I promise you, which those people I say fantasy in terms of Danny Milivojevic, which they have other guys. Guess what? I'll move on. I mean, that's how I can do. Only I'm focusing on making sure I'm very successful in what I do, making sure I'm very much more alive in what I do all the time. I make sure I understand straight away how it feels to be successful all the time. I mean, that's all I do. I just make sure I'm very successful in everything I do, because that's what you need. I mean, you need to make sure that you're just enjoying your life. I mean, enjoy your life so much, and that's all you need to realize. If you want to feel that you have success, then have success in different ways. I mean, feel that you are improving yourself, and that's the whole point. I mean, the whole point is making sure that you're learning. I mean, learning what? I mean, learning yourself in the process. I mean, learning to be more. I mean, make sure you understand that regardless of what happens, I mean, you're learning very quickly upon how you need to just do your life. I mean, do your life differently. I mean, understand how to do that. I mean, understand how to do life differently is what I'm saying. I mean, go do something about words today. I mean, go really, really succeed in your words today. And make sure you understand that no matter what, I can feel it. I can feel that nice and beautiful devotion all the time to do whatever it is. I mean, in a sense, what I want always is to see that nice and beautiful way of life in different ways. So that's all you need to do daily, is make sure you're looking at the nice and beautiful way of life. But do you get jealous? I mean, do you get jealous if other guys have sex with women that you want? I never get jealous. I never get jealous, because I understand that I can also deliver the same amount of whatever they're doing. I can do the same thing. I can always make sure that I can focus on understanding that I realize it's much more how I feel. But what's amazing about my life is loving life, and I want to do greater. I want to make sure that regardless of what's happening, I focus on making sure I'm always promoting better photos. I'm always making sure that what you need to do daily is help yourself to succeed in different ways. And make sure you understand something. I mean, make sure you're promoting the difference always. I mean, you're always promoting the difference of life in different ways to make sure you're successful, and make sure you never get violent about anything. I mean, never get violent about anything in life. I mean, you're always looking for that nice and beautiful way of life for yourself. So make sure you understand that no matter what, they're looking for the best aspects of life. I mean, look for the best aspects of life, guys. I mean, make sure you understand that. I mean, make sure you understand that it's more how I feel. I'm never talking anything in terms of negativity here. Making sure that you understand that I'm learning very quickly upon doing life differently. I'm making sure that it's more how I feel, and I feel differently all the time. I make sure I love life. I love life in the best kind of regard. I love life to succeed in different ways, and I make sure I'm very, very quick to do life. I mean, since I'm very quick to do life, I realize it's much more how I need to always broaden up my talent to succeed in different ways, and that way I'm looking to improve my life. Because if you want to be sexy, then you have to go really, really study sexiness. You have to study sexiness. I mean, you have to understand that you have to go the long way about what you're doing always. Then focus on making sure that you love yourself the most, and then that's it. I mean, there's sense. So the whole point is go and do something that you've never done, and that's it. Go make sure that you're communicating those words every single day. That's all you need to do. Out every single day. Make sure you're looking sexier and sexier and sexier, always. I mean, make sure you understand how to feel what you want always. I mean, make sure you understand that if you want to broaden your talent, you want to do something around talent. And talent is words, man. I mean, talent is words, but make sure you understand that you have to see how alone you are anyway. I realize if you have all these women with you, imagine the, let's say, nice and beautiful friendship that you can have with them in terms of words. I can really see how I feel about people. I can see straight away how I feel in terms of a nice and beautiful connection with people. I realize it's much more how I feel, but it's much more how I understand how people can treat me in terms of life. Whereas it's much more how I see that I can turn the words around. I can see Stacey Kidlow with me, I'm pretty sure she agrees with me. Whereas I understand that either way. I realize Trish Stratus, I realize with her, whereas if I understand her, I'm pretty sure she's much more into somebody else. I feel it. Whereas why is that? Whereas why? I feel that she's somebody that just needs somebody else. Unfortunately, so either way, I focus upon understanding that if you want to go and communicate love to somebody, then focus on doing that with you. Talk to yourself more is what I'm saying. If you talk to yourself more than other people, then go and focus on loving yourself while you're doing it. Understand? All the time, just focus on loving your life always. Understand? So if you understand every single time to just see images of different aspects of life with yourself, to love your life always differently. Make sure you just really, really realize something. That you need better photos always. You need to focus on studying life. Study life differently always. Make sure you understand that. Make sure you understand how it is to feel greatness. Understand? But when the woman's showing other people something in terms of life, but they're never trying to, let's say, do it to you. They're trying to go and communicate to those people to show them that, and they believe those guys deserve it, but never you. That's different. Understand? But guess what? I realize that's how it is. I realize it's more how you need to go and realize something. I realize it's more how you feel that other people are going around and getting all this devotion from other people, and those people are never devoting themselves to you because you're never with them for some reason. Understand? And that's how it is, guys. You have to understand that. If you want to succeed very differently every single day, then focus on making sure that what you want out of life is different aspects of life to do your life differently. That's all. All you want is to just have a greater life. Approach, that's it. Approach, no matter what I do today, I focus on something greater. I focus on making sure that I look at people and looking at the different photos of Stacey Keebler as well. And I'm just promoting differences. I'm promoting something different. I'm promoting the nice and beautiful aspects of people. Actually, that's it. Actually, I'm just promoting different people for different acts of whatever it is that just is. Actually, just all is. Actually, just how it is. So if you want to do something really nice and beautiful, then love yourself in ways that helps you grow. That's all you have to do. Always focus on yourself. That's what I'm saying. If you do that always, I'm sure everything's beautiful. But there's always a better photo. I can see it. If you understand everything about love, then love is being able to pick and choose in a way that is helping you. If it helps you to love much more, then understand it's much more to talk to yourself than other people. Approach, that's what it is. Approach, it's much more to talk to yourself than other people. Guess what? Approach, if you understand how to talk to yourself more than other people, then you have everything you ever want. Understand? Make sure you understand that. Make sure you understand that what you want in life is to succeed differently. Succeeding differently is what you want. But if you understand any time that you just go and promote what you want, promote different stories and different ways of life where you're learning very quickly, that you just understand something. You realize that you just go and really, really promote something that is. Promote something that is, because that way you are looking for a better way. You're looking for a better way to communicate with yourself and other people, to love your life in different matters and doing something that's different all the time, to do whatever it is to succeed. You understand? But when you promote different women all the time, then you're making sure that you put your name there and you put your fantasy and let people see your fantasies always. So always understand that what you want in life is to learn very quickly upon just doing your life better. Do your life so much better. And because you're doing your life better, you're just making sure that you can see straight away what's happening. And what's happening with you is, understand this, that they go for men that have more plastic money right now. Unfortunately, they go for men that have plastic money to give them, and that's it. Well, if you understand something about love or anything you want, well, it's more how you need to be more attractive always with yourself to succeed, and you have to understand that no matter what. If you, I mean, just focus on having the nice and beautiful aspect of what you need. I mean, the most beautiful aspects of life is focusing on yourself. I mean, focusing on yourself is more than anything else. I mean, I'm saying, if you do that always, I mean, if you do something always to help yourself in different ways, you're making sure that you look sexy always. I mean, look sexy always to develop. I mean, make sure you understand if you're looking sexier every single day, then you're doing whatever it is to help yourself to do that. So just keep going and understanding that you have to go and really lift your communication with yourself today. I mean, with yourself today is what I mean. But that's what you have to understand. So no matter what I do, I'm focusing on understanding that if you want to understand anything about love or anything, then make sure you understand that love is found through words and never through any kind of skin or anything. I mean, that's it. So always focusing on understanding that no matter what, now I can see straight away how something can be. I'm straight away understanding that no matter what, it's more how I feel. So if you speak over her and you really, really understand every single day, you can focus on understanding that it's much more how I feel. So if you feel straight away that somebody's looking at you in a way that is just a turn on, in a way that you can see straight away her eyes or somebody's eyes that is really, really understanding that no matter what, that you just are looking for that nice and beautiful devotion right here in terms of making sure that you're learning to connect with that. I mean, when you learn to connect with that very much, then it's much more of a temptation to succeed in different ways, and you're making sure that it's much more how you feel. I mean, if you feel that you are understanding life very quickly, now understand no matter what, you never have shame for anything. You never have shame, but make sure that you understand that no matter what, it's more how, if you need sex from other people, then guess what, bro, it's much more how you feel. So make sure you understand that no matter what, you're talking over everything, and you're always making sure that you can go for as long as you want with anybody, because you have much more than them, and because you have much more than them, it's more that communicational method right here, in ways that you must understand that if you just go and promote yourself differently and you communicate words to that, and you understand that with them there's no words over here. I mean, they're just really into you in a way that you are learning very quickly upon making sure that you're doing nice and beautiful for yourself, but making sure that no matter what, you learn very quickly how to overcome something like that. And to overcome that, first you just have to let it be. First you have to connect with that. First you have to connect as much as you can in a way that you mature, in a way that you can do it, in a way that you see yourself though. When you see your words, when your words is improving yourself. I mean, you're improving yourself all the time, and eventually, yes, of course, eventually they jump on you. In a sense, so that's what I mean. I mean, if you understand every single day, no matter what, you're focusing on making sure that you feel better about everything. I mean, in a sense, so what you want to do all the time is never get violent, never be violent about something in life. I mean, all you want in life is to succeed, and you want. To, I mean, you want to make sure that your life is different. Fortunately, now because your life is different, I mean, you can make sure that you are looking for whatever you want from that. I mean, it's more how you feel that you have to mature in different ways. And why do you have to mature? Because you have to speak your words in different ways, and you have to make sure that it's more how you need to realize about life and how life is always. But if you focus upon understanding that your image is more hers or his, then make sure that no matter what, that you're learning very quickly upon understanding that either way. It's much more how you feel. I mean, the feeling of a nice and beautiful way of life over here, to focus upon understanding that people never care. I mean, they never care in words. I mean, in their sense, if you see that happening with you, then guess what, approach, they want pleasure from you right away. I mean, they want pleasure from you, and they want to go and let it be. But you must understand that if you want pleasure from somebody, then you have to go down on them first. Whereas you have to go down on them first and let it be that way. Whereas it's much more how you must realize it's much more how you delay gratification as much as possible, because no matter what you're doing, you focus on understanding how when somebody's looking at you in a dirty way, I mean, guess what happens? You just feel turned on. I mean, you feel turned on really, really nice. But it's nice and beautiful when you're understanding that, and when you understand that no matter what, you deserve something like that always in your life, where somebody may look at you this way always and say, yeah, I realize I understand that. I understand straight away. I'm feeling this nice and beautiful way of differences, and I can relate an image to any kind of image out there, and I can see straight away what I can do. I mean, in a sense, so it's more how I feel that the nice and beautiful way of life is going right through the nice and beautiful motions of everything you're doing. So if you want to understand something, if you want to understand something about life, then focus on saying that what you want out of life is to succeed differently, and you want to make sure all the time that I never kill anybody. By making sure all the time that I focus on making sure always to make sure that it's more how I need the words to say over here. I mean, it's never about pleasure, but what it is, I realize it's much more how I understand that it's much more how I need to go and grow. I need to grow my words always. I'll make sure all the time they're much better than all of them to have what I want. And I make sure I'm never overprotective, but making sure every single day that I learn very quickly upon understanding that it's much more about words anyway. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Anybody can train you really quickly to absorb what you want out of life. So it's much more how you must understand that you feel greater. You feel much greater when you have that devotion to you, and they never have that. And I see how other people feel as well. I see how other people feel about that. I make sure that always I can see that nice and beautiful feeling of love. What's the love feeling over here is understanding that since I understand that, I realize it's much more how I need to just grow from that. I need to grow in different ways. I need to go and actually understand how to study all the time. And I need to make sure that no matter what, I relate certain images with certain images to see exactly how I need to focus on actually being more intimate with whatever it is that's happening right now in a way that is focusing on making sure that no matter what that you understand, it's much more like that in the real world, where you can focus on making sure that you are delivering content. And if you have to understand that, which that's what you want, which is much more the content of all that, which is more how you want other people to watch you in a certain way to love you, while you're loving yourself in a way that you're learning. You're learning, and while other people are loving each other, that you have love also with somebody who's really sexy. That is really, really something that I feel. So what I understand about love, or anything about love, or anything about how I've seen something, I'm saying it's much more how I feel great. I feel greater and greater and greater because I understand that I can see straight away how somebody else can treat me in front of other people. And then, well, if that's the case, of course, it's much more how I feel now. Because now, since I understand every single day that I focus upon understanding that it's much more how I want to always deliver that nice and beautiful content, and it's much more how I feel that I want to make other people jealous. I want to make other people jealous of me, and why is that? I want them to hate me in a way that I have more than them always. But making sure always that I need to go and focus upon really, really delivering that nice and beautiful content every single day. To focus upon understanding that every single day, if you focus on something that's nice and beautiful for yourself, then you understand that no matter what, you learn very quickly about how other people are with you in different ways. But guess what happens? You're learning very quickly about status and love. And you're making sure that love is something that's words much more than how they look at you. But it's much more how the devotion of them having to be with you over other people is what you want. In that sense, so it's much more how you want somebody to devote themselves to accept you, while other people have other people accepting them, which is much more like that. But you have yourself here. And you have yourself. So what you want out of life is to succeed differently. So if you have that kind of beautiful nature, you must understand that no matter what, it's much more how I feel. And now you must understand either way that you focus on making sure they're learning very quickly upon love itself. And if you understand something about love, it's much more how I understand straight away. I say it's much more how I need to grow anyway. And it's much more how I feel. I feel differently. I'm looking at different aspects of my life. I'm never a killer. I make sure I'm always growing. I'm growing in different ways. I'm making sure that you understand something about love and freedom. I'm making sure all the time that I focus on making sure that it's just that kind of day, isn't it? Make sure you understand that what you want out of life is to succeed in different ways. And you want to understand the intimacy of something that is nice and beautiful in different ways of love. So if you understand that is what you want, I realize that's the ultimate case. But you can understand that is more the intimacy you're looking for. You're looking for that nice and beautiful acceptance from people, where you can go and really, really just have all the nice and beautiful ways of life that you can understand. That it's just that kind of acceptance that you want. And that acceptance is what you have now with yourself. Or else now that's all you want. Or else the whole point is making sure that you want to deliver that content. I mean, the content that is nice and beautiful right now is making sure that you're doing that nice and beautiful way of life in a way that you're learning the great arts of what it is, or else the great art of success here is actually understanding that no matter what, you can grow into maturity much more because you're actually looking for the nice and beautiful feels of life in ways that you're succeeding. I mean, you're succeeding in different ways, and you're making sure that you focus upon understanding that there's always much more to do every single day. But guess what? I mean, it's much more the maturity about everything. Versus the maturity of having that nice and beautiful, whatever it is, in terms of orgy in words, and you're making sure that no matter what, you're looking for that nice and beautiful improvement eventually. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, that's it, but guess what, approach it's more how you have to call other people in a way that you have to make up a day or something like that where people can come along and do that somewhere. But that's a booking or something like that. I mean, in a sense, so what you do is focus on yourself in ways that helps you to love yourself more, and that way you understand either way that what's important is making sure you're understanding to grow yourself differently and making sure every single time that you love yourself all the time, and you must understand that. I mean, you must understand that she wants it also in a way that she wants this. I mean, she wants you to succeed. I mean, person they want you to succeed in a way that they're never trying to kill you. But you must understand that if you want anything about life, I mean, make sure you understand it's much more how I feel that no matter what, that I feel how other people are toward me, and she wants me, but I focus upon understanding it's much more how I feel. And if you want anything about love, then understand every single time how much somebody wants me. I'm pretty sure now I feel this woman Diana really wants me. I'm pretty sure she feels so much intense love for me. But I'm understanding that no matter what, that if this is the case, I'm pretty sure it's more how she has somebody else anyway. Well, she must understand anyway that I focus on delivering content in a way that I love myself, and I love myself regardless of what's happening. But it's more how I understand that no matter what, that since that's the case, Brush, it's much more how she wants me to. Brush, it's much more how you feel. Brush, it's much more how I understand either way. If you want that kind of love in your life, it's more how you have to speak the words. Brush, you have all that in the words. You understand? I mean, all that in the words is what you want. But what you want out of life is to succeed the other way. First, you want to have that nice and beautiful way of life in different ways, and you want to understand every single day that you have something different in your life. So, what you want out of life and what you want to succeed with is different ways. So, different ways of courage and being, and different ways of persuading people while you're loving yourself, and you're making sure that you have that nice and beautiful intent to do something to help people. But if you understand either way, that if you really, really want something out of love, then it's much more how you feel every single time to make sure that you are looking for the nice beautiful answer. So it's much more how I understand that no matter what, I can see Stacey Klibler into me in a way that she wants me, and I understand that no matter what, I can feel the nice and beautiful, let's say, ride. I can see the ride over here, but I make sure all the time that I focus upon understanding that no matter what I want to succeed differently. I want to make sure that it's much more how I feel all the time, that I feel that nice and beautiful gesture over here is different, but she also wants me. But I make sure that every single day I'm learning that quick I'm learning the quick, nice and beautiful way of life. But she's somebody definitely wants me. I mean, it's more how I understand that they want to tune in, or should they want to tune into the dirty aspects of life, or should they want to be dirty? I mean, they want to go dirty on you. I mean, they want to be able to study that dirtiness, or study how people get dirty in life. Study how they get horny about life. Like I said, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's much more how I feel. So if you want to understand anything about life, it's much more how I understand. She definitely wants me, but it's more how I understand that no matter what I do, I focus on understanding that she wants me to. Whereas now, every single day, just make sure that no matter what, that if you focus on making sure that your love is for you, then make sure that no matter what, that you're learning very quickly upon what you want out of life. So what you want out of life is to make sure that either way, that if you really, really want something, then guess what, Russia, yes, Russia now it's much more, yeah. Whereas now it's much more Russia, because I understand that something is really, really going on in a way that I feel that other people want me in a way that is much more than just what we are. You understand? But that's the kind of thing I understand, that it's much more she is much more in the nice and beautiful regard to go away. But I make sure all the time they understand that no matter what, I'm really, really learning something very quick. And it's much more how I feel that I want to really, really boost the sex drive in a way that is what? Or she has to be words. Or she has to be words, but that's how people treat each other. People treat each other through the penis and the vagina, and that's how people want to be. People want to be penis and vagina all the way. I mean, they never want words with penis and vagina. They just want penis and vagina. They want to treat people like a penis and vagina, and that's it. I mean, they just want to be horny. That's it. It's much more how I understand that the horny nature of life is always degrading, which is the most degrading thing I've ever seen. That either way, unfortunately, I understand that no matter what I feel, it's much more the pleasure of life. The pleasure of life is what people go for. Now, I feel that she is somebody that moves away. Unfortunately, I understand that no matter what, if you feel your nice and beautiful life that's moving ahead of you, unfortunately, that I understand that no matter what, it's more that kind of day, isn't it? Unfortunately, the more the day is, unfortunately, it's much more how I feel that you have to go and really, really grow yourself in different ways to love life. Unfortunately, now I'm always looking for ways to improve. I'm always looking for ways to make sure that I have that kind of nice and beautiful aspect going every single day. I'm making sure I'm relaying images with other images to make sure to see the connection here. I'm looking for connections. I'm looking to see exactly how it all goes, because what I need to do all the time is focus on something different. Which is something different all the time. Now, the thing is, I understand that no matter what, I'm looking always differently for what's happening around the world. And because that's different, I move on. I move on from all that. I mean, I realize that I can see exactly what really, really, let's say, turns me on in different ways. But what I need to do all the time is I make sure that no matter what, I focus on loving life. I focus on making sure that my love for I is much more. And that way I focus on making sure that I can see straight away. It's much more how I need to go and do life. But that's like caveman and cavewoman days where it's just about sex. I mean, it's just about sex and it's about nothing else. Which that's carelessness. Which if you just treat a woman or man just for sex, and if you just go that way, there's no love between you. I mean, there's no love between you. But if you just chase sex from a woman, and that's what you want, guess what, eventually you get all this sex, but you never get a woman. And I'm saying, but guess what, it's much more how I feel that people are just running towards sex everywhere. It's more how I feel and that I understand that no matter what, that if you really, really understand something about life, that if you just treat people with words much better, and you just never ever go for the sex or pleasure, it's more how I understand that it's more how you need to see that, yes, you realize you never, unfortunately, then you never get pleasure from them, but then they have and touch other people instead of you. But that's violence, isn't it? I mean, it's violence when you want other people to touch you in a way that they're touching other people. Which that's the biggest violence I've ever seen. I mean, why is that violence? Which is violence because if you want to touch yourself to, let's say, have some kind of experience with image or something like that, then make sure you understand that it's more how you have to understand. It's more how you need to delay gratification in ways that you want to show yourself much more. I mean, in a sense, so every single day, just make sure that no matter what that you're feeling, that nice and beautiful way of love. And you must understand that no matter what, it's more how you have to understand that if you want to go in that fantasy world of love and devotion with other people all the time, then make sure that no matter what that you're learning, that it's much more about you than other people. Which is much more about you than other people. And you're making sure that no matter what, you have that nice and beautiful devotion always. But understand either way, if you want to learn something very quickly, and learn how to really, really act toward people in a different way. And it's much more how I feel that they have that. I mean, they have that, but guess what? What you need to do is speak words over that. You speak words over that in different ways, and it's much more how it's intimate in a way that you wish for it. I mean, you wish for that kind of intimacy, which is words and pleasure with them. I mean, the same, but guess what, Proshi? That's what it is. Proshi, now, if that's the case, Proshi, it's much more how you have to dive in all the way. I mean, the same, but every single time that people want to be careless. I mean, they want to be careless about everything. I mean, they just want to have sex all day long, or else, I mean, understand? I mean, they want nothing else except sex. Rush, you must understand. So, every single day, you must understand that if you want to do anything about life, Rush, it's more how I feel that you can just go ahead I mean, just go ahead and really deliver a nice and beautiful attitude all the time to succeed in different ways, to show yourself different areas of life in different ways, and making sure all the time that you're learning very quickly upon what's happening. So if you understand anyway, you focus on making sure that no matter what's happening, that you're learning very quickly upon what's happening with your life. And now you must understand that no matter what, I feel much more, let's say in the version for I, in the way that I can feel that no matter what, that I see something, I see that it's much more how I feel. And now I feel a way that I have to go and do greater. I have to make sure that no matter what, that it's more how I understand that as I do greater, I shall succeed. Because anyway, or else that if you go and really study upon life differently, approach it's much more how you need to accept yourself. Oh yes, I mean, you always have to accept yourself. But to accept yourself, just focus on you now. I mean, focus on making sure that you have that nice and beautiful way of life over here. And make sure that if you want something to succeed with all the time, then making sure that you can learn very quickly about what you want to do every single day, and then make sure that no matter what, it's more about you than other people. But make sure you understand that you just fall for your words much more than other people, is what I'm saying. I mean, that's all. I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, the whole point is do yourself more than other people. I mean, that's all you want to do. But that's the thing, unfortunately. That's the thing about life. But if you understand that no matter what, that you want something, a life like here, I mean, you want this over here, but guess what, approach it's much more how I see it's much more, and you need to grow from that, approach. You need to grow from that in a way that it's helping you move forward, and it's much more how you have that kind of devotion for yourself over here of words, and you're making sure that you can express yourself like that in words. I mean, that's what you're ultimately looking for. I mean, you're looking to express yourself with what they're doing on screen with words. I mean, in that sense, if you express yourself with words, then you deserve a greater life, always. I mean, always express yourself more and more and more. And that's all you have to do. I mean, express yourself differently and make sure you understand that it's much more how you feel. I mean, you feel that is nice and beautiful, and that's something that's fulfilling. But the fulfilling nature of life is that you want a greater way of dealing with life in a way that it's much more sexier than what you've done. But it's the case. I mean, the case is, yes, unfortunately, you can see it. No way. I mean, why? I mean, why? Because you can see it. Unfortunately, now that's why you have to get yourself high in words to get that. I mean, and that's it. First, you have to get yourself high in words always. But if you want to have pleasure, if you want to have pleasure, then guess what? First, it's more how you have to understand. You have to delay as much as possible. But if you do pleasure, first, if you do a lot of pleasure, first, it's more that you have to understand that nobody's stopping you to do anything. I mean, understand, but what you do out of life is succeed. I mean, succeed differently, and succeed by showing people exactly what you mean. Always. And if you succeed always in different ways, then you're always looking for that nice and beautiful improvement along the way about what you love out of life in different ways. So make sure you understand that no matter what you want out of life is differences. I mean, you want differences of whatever it is to succeed. And you want to make sure that no matter what, that you're learning very quickly upon what it is to succeed. I mean, understand? So always just look at nice and beautiful ways of life over here and understand either way. Just make sure you're looking for the best kind of ideas always. But if you're looking for the best kind of ideas, just focus upon loving yourself in different ways and focus on understanding that it's more how I feel here that I have a better opportunity to succeed. Because I see differences. I see differences of moments over here in different ways to love life. So I understand either way that since that is the case, I can see straight away how I need to go and do better for myself in different ways. And now, how do I do that? I mean, how do I do that? I mean, that's just the thing. I mean, the thing is that it's more how I feel. And the feeling of being able to just go and really enjoy. The feeling of being able to enjoy what you want and to succeed differently and to have this massive communication of skills in words. I mean, in that sense. So if you understand either way that we're all in this together, but it's the expansion of the mindset here. And the expansion of the mindset to go and do much more. Do much more always and focus on understanding that's what you want. That's communicational skill. The communication of all the actual words of everything that you see in terms of allowing everything. Allow everything to happen. Then understand anyway that you deserve much more anyway. So what you do is see the nice and beautiful gist over here. The gist of what? The gist of actually just expanding your mindset in different ways to make sure that everything has. You must understand everything must have. But that's how I understand it. Anyway, I'm growing much quicker. I'm growing much quicker to say it's much more how it's more a communicational skill, and that's what they're trying to do. I understand, but guess what approach? It's more how you have to understand that it's without you. I mean, without you, but guess what approach? That's the thing. Approach now, there's no communication between you. I mean, there's no communication between you, but what you need to do always is learn quickly about what you want out of life. But if you want, I mean, if you want anything about life, it's more how you need to study how to actually succeed. So succeeding in different ways to succeed in different regards to what you're doing is the best kind of way. So if you focus on really improving yourself in different ways and you're focusing on making sure that it's all about that, but make sure you understand the words is much more important. When I said, but guess what, approach it's much more how I feel here is the worst thing. I mean, guess what? I mean, I can always do better than that. When I said, but what the thing is, I realized that it's more how the communication of all that, as it happens, is more how the fantasy of life happens when we all have turns about everything. I mean, that's more of the fantasy that you're looking for, where you can have all the treasure of whatever you want, but that's all in the words. Whereas the words of life are broken out, it's much more that. Whereas that's what you're talking about. Whereas that's what you're really talking about. But there's more. Whereas now, anyway, whereas it's much more if that happens, whereas that's the ultimate success. And the ultimate success of life is to just have all the communication in the world with people in a way that everybody's accepting of you. Whereas that's validation type of things. When I said, but that's the thing, approach. If you do that approach, then you look like someone who needs to improve always with your communicational skills. I mean, in any case, I mean, you must understand that if you want to go and really dwell upon something that is really successful all the time, then make sure you understand that's the thing, approach. That's the worst thing. I mean, that's the worst thing because the thing is that if you're imagining other people having sex, then make sure you understand that's the worst thing that you have to realize. And what you do is go back to your nice and beautiful content over here and focus on delivering the content much more because that's what you're really looking for. I mean, you're looking for devotion from people in a way that you're trying to seek validation from people. And if you're trying to seek validation from people, then understand your words are the validation. I mean, your words are the validation. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that is more the communication art of what. I mean, it's more how you are seeing that the temptation of pleasure is what that is in a way. I understand that if you go and really dwell upon, really understand something, that you go and really dwell upon, really loving yourself in a way that you're communicating over everything. Because guess what, bro? I understand they never care, but guess what, bro? They do care if you communicate with them. I understand, but guess what, bro? The whole thing is I care. I care. I understand, but what you need to do is realize that no matter what, that yes, I was in competition with you always to get the woman. I mean, they're always in competition with you. And if you get them before, I mean, if you get the woman or man before them, then they hate you regardless. I mean, they hate your success already. So all you do is if you show up and always going around people to get people's woman, I mean, guess what happens? I mean, they already fucking hate you and they want to cause you violence. Whereas now, you always win. Whereas you always win. But the thing is, I mean, Jesus Christ says, never try to go pick up people's woman because that way you have to understand it's the best way. In a sense, of what you do is love your life and understand that people get so jealous if you have so much more success than them in all areas of life. Well, that's the thing. So if you want to experience that, actually, that's what you want. Actually, that's the thing. Actually, that's all the pleasure of the world. Actually, that's all the pleasure of the world where you are looking for pleasure with other people in all ways to accept you for who you are in pleasure. When it's not bullshit. Now that's the thing, bullshit. If you believe that way, then that's the worst thing of all. Bullshit. The worst thing is when you need pleasure with other people to have sex and orgies with them to accept you while you're doing that. Bullshit, that's degrading. Bullshit, it's degrading you in a way that you have to understand that. It's more, yes, they're accepting you, but you can accept yourself. I mean, you can accept yourself in your words. Well, in a sense of what you need to do is realize something that you want that nice and beautiful empathy of words, but you can give yourself that. I mean, you can give whatever you're looking for from them with your words for yourself. And you can give exactly that, Roshi, all of that It's how you want to express your words more than that. I mean, you want to be able to express your words more than sex with other people. I mean, that's in because that's what it's all about. You want your words more than them. I mean, you want your words more than anything. Like I said, I mean, there's nothing else that you want. I mean, that's fulfilling, yeah. I mean, it's more the words. I mean, the words is what you want. I mean, you want that, but it's more the words. Actually, it's more the words. Actually, I mean, the words over that. But that's the thing, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest temptation I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that's like a drug. I mean, that's like a drug for a woman to look at you in a way that they're dirty about you. I mean, so what you want to do is realize something, that when they look at you dirty and some other guys or somebody else has a woman, but they're looking at you dirty and they're sexy, well, she's validation straight away, but I feel it. So what you need to realize is more, you need to realize something. I mean, you want the words with that. When you want the words only. I mean, all you want is words. I mean, everything that you want is sexual fantasy, is words. I mean, the words is what you want. So keep coming back to the words is what I'm saying. I mean, the I, in terms of the word I, is everything, much more than everything. I never kill, but I understand that every single day you must understand it's more how you feel. You feel that is what you want, but it's more the words than that. I mean, the same, because that's pleasure over there. I mean, pleasure is suffering. I mean, anybody who suffers with pleasure is doing nothing. I mean, in a sense, so what you need to do is realize the words is what you want in the images of what's happening. I mean, you can be watching. You can be watching all the images, but guess what? Probably it's more how you want the words again. When you want to be feeling the words here, because that's pleasure too. I mean, in a sense, so realize that no matter what, I'm just learning very quickly that it's more the words that you want, regardless, because it's more the words all the time. The more words, the better. I mean, no matter how they look or how sexy they are, or no matter how much they're touching, I mean, you want the words more than that. I mean, you can give yourself those words. I mean, that's it. I mean, you must understand. You want words more than other people following you. You want to give yourself words more than other people are following you. Actually, that's it. Actually, you must understand. So, the fulfilling part of life is you want the words more than masturbation, and you want words more than anything in life. Because words is something that helps you. You have to understand that. You have to understand you want words better than all that. Or else, now the pleasure of life is when other people are looking at you dirty and horny for you, and when you allow it, and then guess what? And then you just do. Then you're having sex. There's no other communication there. I mean, that's the worst thing. There's no communication between you. Understand? But you want the words with all that. I mean, you want the words with everything you say. But then you feel, so let's say, violent. I mean, you feel violent because you want words. I never kill anybody, but it's more how you feel violence because pleasure is something that is attacking you. And then you're saying, oh, they have this woman in whatever situation it is. But then you look at that and you say, it's just the words that I need. I realize I never need anything else. I never need anything else but words. I mean, words. And it's more how it hurts you. I mean, it hurts you to have words in your life. I mean, it hurts you, I promise you. I mean, the words are hurting you for some reason. I'm never feeling hurt. But that's the thing. Of course, you have to open up. It's what we're talking about here. Of course, it's more the art of communication here. And it's more how you feel you want to express yourself with somebody in words. More than anything, but that's how it feels. Otherwise, it gets violent. And otherwise, you feel no connection with them. I mean, that's it. I mean, you want a connection, always more. I mean, you always want more connection, but you feel that you are unable to go and study upon, let's say, being with a woman or man, where you can go and dwell upon a better way, where you can go and do much greater, where you're understanding yourself. You understand yourself anyway. I mean, understand yourself more than that. What's the word I only? When you feel that you are, let's say, immature to some level to even have this beautiful woman in your life, because of what? I mean, because of the money you have, because of or it's because of the nice and beautiful communicational skills or the nice and beautiful successful life you have now, because other people can somehow give this nice and beautiful life to them much more than you, and they can travel the world much more than you because they work a 9 to 5 job and they're doing drugs. And when they're doing drugs and they can feel that all they want is communicational pleasure and they never want a legacy but they want to fuck. And you find that somehow attractive and you feel that it's more how it feels. Or she's never that. Or she's never that. I'm better than all that. I mean, the same, but then you feel that you see a mature woman, and because you see a mature woman, that you feel that somebody else deserves her more because of the money you have, or because you live in your biological dad's house, or you live in your parents' house, and you feel that you never did absorb that, and you never did teach them a lesson, you never did have sex with them, and that's why you feel no empathy, and that's why you feel the worst way in terms of life because some other guy is having them, and never you. And then you feel that then you feel that you deserve them much more than them, and you understand either way that you're learning to see what you are, and then you have to understand that it's more how you feel. In a way, I'm better than all that, but it's much more how you feel that you can see they have houses, and they have marriages, or actually they have different ways of communicating, and they feel that they can make you safe some kind of way, and they can comfort you, they can be on you, and they can orgasm to you too, and you can feel good about that, and you can feel good that somebody's validating you, that's sexier than all the women you had, in terms of body language, and in terms of status, and you have a mature woman or man with you, where you understand either way that you're learning very quickly to dig in deep, and then you're looking for that nice and beautiful whatever it is, but then you want to have sex on the beach with women who are fashion modeling themselves or looking at you dirty at some kind of level, and you just want to flop it out and you want to give it your penis in a way that they just understand what you are. I mean that's all no communication skills. I mean that's all pleasure. I mean what you want is I'm better than all that. Or else also then you look. Then you look at people that have kids and you wonder why they're never having kids because you feel that you deserve more than other people. But then you say, hey, or else you may go for sex and pleasure here and there, but then you feel that you deserve kids with her more than he does. And because that's the case, then you feel that then you feel that she's making a big mistake going for him because you can speak more words. I'm doing better than all that.